Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Williams Road to Glory, and today's video is massive. 4 races remain in season number 2 and we go into this race well in the fight for the World Championship. But there's a twist. This weekend, as you'll see, we're taking a grid penalty because out of the 4 remaining races, this is probably my weakest track, so it's the best one for me to take an engine penalty. So it's going to spice up the race, so stay tuned. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you missed the previous one, I'll leave that linked up in the top right as always, so go check that one out before we jump into any major spoilers. The last episode at Japan, wow, let me tell you, check it out. I'm not going to spoil it, but it completely flips the championship 180. It's a complete changeover, so watch it, see what happens, and you'll understand why this race has massive implications and why me taking a grid penalty is a massive risk. If you're going to enjoy today's episode, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more daily F1 content, and let's get into it. Now, as always, we jump into the weather forecast, and this weekend there is no rain expected at the Circuit of the Americas. We then look at the performance chart and no changes for us, but an improvement to the Renault team, also the AlphaTauri and the McLaren as well, it seems like, with Alpha and Haas staying at the bottom of the table. We've got 2 upgrades on the way. They're both major, and if they arrive, we should become the 3rd quickest team in Formula 1, and that's going to be a big step forward for us in the right direction. Now, we move to practice, and I wanted to try and get the car in the right window. As you know, I don't like USA, I don't enjoy it, and I'm also really slow around here, so this is a good race for me to take an engine penalty, and the reason for that is because we are quite tight in terms of making it to the end on our current components. So I feel like we're going to take an engine penalty just to be safe, and also that way we can push flat out for the rest of the season. So after practice we scored a decent amount of R&D points and also a bit of driver acclaim gained as well, and you'll see here, you can see the wear in the bottom right. 44% on the ICE. We've still got 3 more races, and actually, well, 4 if you include this one, so I'm not quite sure if we're going to make it on certain components, so therefore it just makes sense to take an extra penalty and just take a precaution basically, and it means now we can just use the engines flat out until the end of the season. So for me it's worth it, and I think, I'm confident we can make the gamble pay off. We move into qualifying though, and of course because of the engine penalty we're not going to waste our time actually qualifying. All we're going to do is just basically go out there and set an installation lap just so that the engine penalty registers in game, and that new engine is confirmed for the race, which we are going to use for the race, by the way. So we might use the older engine for Mexico possibly, as it's less of a power sensitive circuit, but nonetheless, as you can see, out and back into the pits as we confirm the grid penalty, and that's going to be it for qualifying for us, as our brand new rival Lewis Hamilton outscores us to start off the weekend. So there you go, there's your lot. We're going to start P20 here in the US Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas, and yeah, we're going to see if we can try and turn this around, because the championship is at stake.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Räikkönen delighted the world by winning for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, where 20 corners and speeds of up to 200 miles an hour await us on this magnificent racetrack. It's 60% full throttle with plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into turn 1 and at the end of the long back straight into turn 12. What a race we have in store today. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, and Gasly, Vettel, Albon. Norris and George Russell, Perez, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen and Grosjean, Sainz, Matsushita, Antonio Giovinazzi and Daniel Kvyat. They've taken a grid penalty, Ocon and Martinez. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, here we are then in the race at COTA. We start from the back of the grid. We've got it all to do here today. We've got to try and pull something out of the bag and try to limit the damage in the championship heading into the final 3 rounds. It's going to be a tough race. As I mentioned in the intro, we're taking the pain this race with the grid penalty because, you know, it's my worst track out of the remaining 4, so it makes sense to do it now. In terms of the strategy for the race, now there's a few options here in terms of what we could do, and to be fair, I'm not really sure yet what I'm actually going to really go for. The 2-stop is tempting, but then again, a 1-stopper is a decent option. It's a feasible option in terms of this race. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I'm going to kind of wing it and see what happens. What I will do though is I'm going to start on the medium regardless of whatever happens or whatever strategy I go for. So medium tire to start with. We've got 2 different options and we'll see which one is the better one. So yeah, fuel wise I'm going to go quite light. I'm going to go 0.6 just because I don't want to overheat the engine in traffic. And yeah, no rain expected, just a bit of clouds right now. And this race is massive. If we can survive this race and get something like a top 5, that could be season defining. So let's jump into the race here at the Circuit of the Americas. Okay, here we go. The lights are on. There's no pressure for this to be a good start as we're starting from the back anyway, so we can't go any further back. Oh my god, what a release time that was. That was perfect as we let go of the clutch pedal, but unfortunately the second phase just wasn't that great. We're going to try our luck around the outside here. The outside of turn 1 is usually the place to be. And look at that, up to P15 already. What a great start. Just being intelligent and using the better racing line. As we head into the S section now, we're going to just slot into the back of cars here and just kind of sit back and see what happens. Again, I know my pace isn't great around this circuit, so I'm not expecting any miracles. As I think that's Grosjean trying it around the outside in the Alfa Romeo there. Luckily, he doesn't quite make the move. But anyway, midway through lap 1 and gaining 5 places already. That is fine by me. Might be a couple more here as we look at the outside at the hairpin. We're going to get Sainz. And can we get Magnussen here? If we drain the ERS, I know I've got some good straight line speed. Maybe I can get past the Haas and make it P30. And here we go. Going to the outside. Going to have to brake a little bit early just to not run into the back of Stroll up ahead. There we go. Round the outside. Inside for the next corner for us, as we outbrake Magnussen and make the move. And just like that, we're P13. So great start and using the medium tyres well, even though they're not the fastest tyre, and it seems like I am the only person on the mediums. We're being smart with the overtakes. Now we've got to see if we can actually run at a decent pace and try and stick with the AI. The plan and the target is to try and stay within DRS range because we're already in this race. You know, we've got ourselves in the mix here in P13 on this alternate strategy. So things are looking good. It's all about trying to maintain this now. So let's see if we can try and stay in the DRS train. Looks like there's a bit of a train of cars here right now being formed by the Alpine of Ricciardo, I think it is, at the front of it. And it's allowing the leaders to pull away, but the pace is dropping here. And this kind of pack of cars is starting to form up. So everyone's falling into the DRS train / slipstream effect. At the minute, we're looking pretty good though. Pace is decent, and I'm in the mix, but I do need to start making a move sooner rather than later. Carlos Sainz putting quite a bit of pressure on from behind. He's looking for a way through. I'm kind of sat here really in this train. I'm still lacking a little bit of pace to really make anything happen. So I'm just kind of waiting for the AI soft tyres to start to drop off, and then we can make some moves. But right now, I don't really see much happening. I am off the pace. I can feel it. I can tell already that I'm not the fastest around here. This DRS train is really frustrating. I just can't get anything to work or anything to happen right now. I am quite poor on traction everywhere, so I can't really line up overtakes on straights like I'd like to. And then even here, I'd love to get a nice bit of traction to maybe dive bomb Stroll into the next left, but I just can't get the traction really that I need to get close enough. So right now, we are pretty much just waiting for the pit stops to happen. I can't really, plan anything. I get a lot of dirty air like here after really lift off the throttle. So yeah, let's see if everyone pits this lap first and foremost. Looks like, nope. And that's unfortunate because Grosjean is irrelevant to my race and my championship. So Not really much of a change there. But yeah, we're going nowhere right now. Oh, we got a yellow. Okay, interesting. That's going to open up the race. And it's George. Oh no, that's terrible. That is a shame. George Russell out of the race. Can we maybe get Stroll here before he retires? No. Oh man, what do we do? Do I just pit for the hard tire and go to the end?
Confirmed.
This is an interesting one, this one. Okay, so I've decided we're going to stick with the strategy, but we're going to pit right now for softs. We're going to get them on the car now. That way it's done. Racing Point are going to stack their cars, which is interesting. Can't go any faster into the pit lane because of Lance, so that's kind of what we can do, really. Looks like one of the Mercs has been held forever, and it's Hamilton. He's been held for permanently. Teams are stacking their cars, so I don't know what the AI are doing here. Everyone's going for the hard tyre, but this is massive. We're going to get released, and we're going to gain a bunch of time and places, and we're going to rejoin in P6 and on the soft tyres. That's interesting. So a bit of a strategy split. Magnussen's up to P7. Verstappen's behind us, so we've somehow jumped Hamilton and Verstappen in the pits. I mean, Hamilton got held forever, but this is massive for us. So soft tyre for us, of course, we're going to have to stop again. Everyone on the hard tyre will not, so we're going to have to be aggressive with these soft tyres and make these moves work. So we need to hopefully be aggressive on the restart and just get to work, basically, and then we're going to have to stop for another set of softs and just basically go flat out for the rest of the race. That's the plan. So let's see how that works out for us, and fingers crossed we can try and make that work. Okay, here we go. Safety car in this lap. We're going to see how this restart goes. It's going to be tricky. The AI will be running at full power, so, you know, going for overtake straight away will be difficult, but we'll try and do our best. Going to try and get a bit of time warm up right towards the end here. I've really done minimal work on my tyres to try and keep as much tyre wear at bay, basically, so they're as fresh as possible. But here we go then. Let's see if we can get a good restart. That's good, that's nice, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get Perez straight away here if possible. Up towards turn 1 we go. Gonna go the long way round here. It's the better line. Perez gets a traction down actually, but we're gonna go up the inside, side by side into the S's. Oh, I have to let go through there. I tried to have a look, but Perez held on. Thinking about it again through there, just not being aggressive enough really. I'll try somewhere else if possible, or maybe not. Back end completely snaps away from me there. Gotta be careful with Magnussen, he's on softs as well. That was a good hairpin. I think I'm going to go for this here. I'm going to keep the ERS engaged. Here we go. Down the inside of Perez. And we're through. Nice. One down. 4 to go. Much quicker than Lando. This move's going to happen right now, I think. Oh, that's a bit close. Lando wiggled slightly in the braking zone, but luckily we're through. And we're now P4. Ricardo up next. Okay, let's get Ricardo now. Let's see if we can line him up for the overtake. Down towards the hairpin. I did think about a little lunge, but we're going to just wait for the straight. No need to rush it. We can slowly prepare the overtake. And here we go. We're going to just sit in the slipstream, basically. Trying to use too much overtake if possible. We'll just let him drag us along as we approach the braking zone. Down the inside. Nicely done. That's another one down now, P3. Let's get Gasly for P2. Here we go. Gasly next, out the final corner. Not the best exit, but still good enough and a fastest lap. We know how fast the AlphaTauri is on the straight, but we're going to go for it down the inside here into turn 1. Contact as Gasly turns in, but we're through. And we're now P2 in this race. Let's go after Bottas next. Looks like we're going to set another fastest lap and improved personal best. There we go, 31.2. And we should be within DRS range of Bottas on the back straight. I've got to say, Bottas is pretty quick. That Merc is running well on those hard tyres. Also, my softs are starting to just lose a bit of the edge now, but we're still going okay for pace. We're pulling away from the cars behind, which is all that matters. Let's see if we can line up Bottas for the overtake here with some DRS out the hairpin. Trying to find some traction, which I'm struggling with already. Here we go. DRS open. We're going to drain the battery and see if we can line up the overtake. Approaching at a high speed. Slow it down on the anchors. Bottas tries to get the cut back, but he can't get through. And we've done it on the P1. Let's see if we've got any pace left in these to try and push on until we pit around lap 19 for our final set of soft tyres. Okay, here we go. We're going to pit this lap then for our final stop of the race. I've been pushing hard, and I've got to say the soft tyres have actually held on surprisingly well. But we're going to go ahead and pit. We're not going to push it before we start making mistakes. And we're going to put on another set of softs. It's been a great stint. We've opened up a massive gap to the teams and cars behind. Just got to get it all slowed down, which we do. Obviously, Bottas is going to win this race. I think Gasly will get a second, but we can definitely get third. I think Ricciardo, we can definitely drive to catch him back up again. I think that's achievable. I really do. Here we go. The soft tyres off and another set of softs on. Fresh set of course. Where we go, 2.4. There goes Ricciardo and Perez, and here comes a little train of cars with Hamilton at the back of it. So we're going to be just outside the top 10. Get a warning there for crossing the pit exit line, as I just got a bit too carried away with the traffic. So we're at the back of this train. We've got to try and carve our way through. So let's see if we have the pace, and we can put these tyres to use straight away and get to the front of the train. Okay, Hamilton first. Can we size them up? Down the inside we go on the Mercedes. That's one down. Can we get Ocon as well, maybe, on this straight? It would require me draining my entire battery. Do I want to go for this? No, I don't. I've used quite a fair bit. I haven't really closed up enough. We're just going to try and use the grip of the soft tyres to just basically surprise Ocon in the traction zones as we go down the inside through there. Contact as Ocon turns in, but we get the move done. Leclerc next. Again, just using the softs in the traction zones. Up the inside we go, through there. That's another one down. I'm into P9. Let's try and get Sainz out the final corner. If we can just nail the exit and traction out of it. That's nice. That'll do. Let's get Sainz into turn 1. Using the ERS. On the brakes. Up the inside we go. And another one. P8. We're flying. These tyres are working fantastically. Kvyat next. I wonder if we can get Kvyat into the hairpin here. That would be a nice move to make. Down the inside we go. Lovely. Nice clean overtake. Verstappen next. This is massive for the championship if we can get past Verstappen as well. Hamilton behind us. Verstappen potentially behind us. We could actually extend our championship lead, which is unbelievable. Having started from the back of the grid. Easy does it through here. We're going to surprise Verstappen with a big old lunge into the double left-handers, I think. That's where it's going to happen. Traction, traction, traction. Up the inside of Verstappen. He turns in completely on me there, but luckily we had his number and I've got the move done anyways. Lando next. It's going to be a similar move to the Sainz one, I think. Unless we get close through here, which we do. Just going to open up the line, set him up for the exit. And there we go. Right in his gearbox. We're going to just take the outside line. Please, Lando, let me just go through here, please. There we go. Long way around at turn 1. This will be ours. And that's P5. Just 2 to go. Let's see if we get Perez here. I don't really have enough ERS to get both of them, I don't think. I'm going to just basically sit behind Sergio. I think he'll probably get a move on Ricciardo, to be fair. If I just kind of stick with him, this will help us close up the gap. Here we go. Wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Down the inside of Perez. And then just Ricciardo to go. I think we can probably get Gasly as well, actually. Seeing him in the distance. Let's line up Ricciardo for the pass. Down the inside. And just like that, we're back on the podium. Right, I can't believe it, but we're going to go for P2 here. Let's go. First lap in clean air. And we're on for a new fastest lap. And this should give us the extra point. As we're now within a second of Pierre Gasly, so we should get DRS on the back straight. The issue is I don't have any ERS. So we'll see what happens. It shouldn't stop us from making the move though. Okay, this is it. I'm going to line up Gasly for the move, taking a nice wide line through the hairpin to try and get a nice exit. There it is. DRS open on Pierre Gasly. Going to wait a little bit for the ERS. Now we can deploy it. Second half of the straight. Here we go. Down the inside on the Frenchman. And we're through up into second place. 3 laps to go. Let's bring this one home. I'll happily take a second place and fastest lap. That would be massive for the championship. We will extend our lead heading into the final 3 rounds, and I could not believe I'd be saying that. Especially before the last 2 races. This race and the one before at Japan, they've both been insane in terms of what a turnaround for the championship. I can't believe it. Here we are then, last lap of the race. What a performance and what a race. From P20 to P2 and doing it on a 2-stop strategy, having to make all the overtakes. We deserve this here today. Bottas will win and we're going to get a second place with the fastest lap. So this for the championship is a turning point. Come on, yes.
That's it then for another magnificent United States Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
There we go then, that is it for the race at USA. We finished P2 with the fastest lap behind Bottas. Gasly on the podium ahead of Ricciardo, Perez, Norris, Verstappen P7. Kvyat, Sainz Leclerc round out the top 10 with Ocon missing out on the points along with Lewis Hamilton, Alex Albon, Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel, Magnussen, Grosjean, Matsushita, Giovinazzi and my teammate George Russell, of course, who unfortunately DNF'd. In terms of the driver standings, with 3 races to go, we have an 18-point lead over Max Verstappen. Bottas moves up to 3rd with that race win, and Hamilton now 47 points off the lead, and he is dangling dangerously close to falling out of contention for the championship. So things are starting to spice up now as we head into the final closing stages. Constructors wise, we're 3rd, and it's probably going to be wrapped up in the next race mathematically and officially confirmed. So a good day at the office for us here today, and yeah, we move into the next race at Mexico. So let's jump into the upgrades and let's see if we can try and improve the car even more. Now, after the race weekend, we look at the new rivalry versus Lewis Hamilton, and we take an early lead heading into the next race at Mexico. So a good start in terms of the rivalry, and also a step forward in terms of driver acclaim, but still nowhere near level 15 as we move into the upgrades. Okay, here we are then back in the menu, and it's a short turnaround until the next race in Mexico, so not much we can realistically do, but I'm going to go ahead and do some more upgrades for future races. We're going to go back to the engine. We're going to go for, I think, a minor ERS upgrade this time. We're going to go ahead, get out of the car, and that should arrive before Brazil. So as it stands right now, 3 upgrades on the way. If they all arrive, we'll comfortably be the 3rd fastest team in Formula 1. So things are looking good as we head into the next round at Mexico. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it from me here today for this episode of the Williams Road to Glory. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,200 likes for that recovery drive and all of those overtakes. Subscribe for more daily F1 content on the channel, guys. And as always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting the content. And if you haven't done so already, guys, check out the 2 videos on screen. But that is it from me here today, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care, and let's goodbye from me.